Sharia-compliant investing has grown considerably in recent decades as the Islamic investment community has demanded increasingly sophisticated investment solutions that adhere to the tenets of Islamic law. We've seen, for example, Sukuk listings increase by a significant percentage in the last decade to a total number of 180 billion in outstanding debt. That does include conventional and Sharia-compliant bonds, so Sukuk. The Sukuk number is very dominant as well, with $77 billion of outstanding. And more recently, this includes big ticket items such as the listing of a Sukuk for the United Arab Emirates Ministry of Finance, and also the first ever ESG Sukuk. The ESG Sukuk outstanding currently approximates $18 billion in capital. Hello, my name is Eric Solomons, and I'm heading the product development for the Dubai Financial Market. And today I'm here with Sharif Salem, CIO of Chimera Capital, and John Welling, Head of Global Equities for S&P Dow Jones Indices. Welcome. We're going to talk a little bit about the importance of Sharia-compliant investing. And for us as TFM, a Sharia-compliant exchange, we're very conscious of the importance of those investment tools and providing investment opportunities for our brokers and investors that fit their appetite and risk tolerance. So, Sharif, if I may, to start with you, and maybe start with a foundation and a bit of an explanation of what is Sharia-compliant investing.
Thank you. So Sharia-compliant investing actually fits in a lot with ESG investing. So Sharia-compliant investing is based on the principles of Islamic law to ensure that the investments align with ethical and moral standards, which a lot of investors now are looking at in terms of the S within the ESG. Sharia-compliant investing allows Muslims to invest in a manner consistent with their religious beliefs. So companies that are not involved in any sort of activities that would be considered non-Islamic, companies in gambling, banks, the conventional commercial banks, those sort of companies would not fit in with the Sharia-based. But what it has done is that it's encouraged a lot of companies to become Sharia-compliant. And what we've seen with the increase in Sukuk issuances is partly due to the fact that a lot of companies want to replace the interest-bearing loans or interest-bearing bonds with Sukuk in order to become Sharia-compliant and attract investor interest.
So thanks for that. John, maybe turning to you, could you talk a little bit about what S&P DJI has done to address this?
Yeah, certainly. We've been in this space for quite a span of time, since 1999. And, we are very interested in reflecting the investor opportunity set. So in terms of providing Sharia and Islamic compliant indices, this is something that we've approached in a robust manner where we have our standard S&P Dow Jones Indices methodologies. However, we work with scholars who are recognized for their work in determining the right compliance criteria for companies to be included into such an index. We then work with a company that looks at the companies individually and does the research to ensure that any company that is considered for inclusion into an index meets these requirements outlined by the Sharia scholars.
So if I may, could you elaborate a little bit then on the screening process for these indices? How do you select constituents of the indices that you bid?
Yeah, so primarily, of importance is determining that the companies have no outsized exposure toward prohibited activities. So, certain sectors, as Sharif mentioned, would be excluded. And then from there, we also take a look at the financial ratios to ensure that they are within guidelines. And we actually offer these indices, toward acquiring and obtaining global exposure, as well as, we look at companies that, are regional, and we have regional index sets that meet these requirements as well.
Thanks for that. Sharif, turning back to you. So what's been the market impact of having these Sharia indices available to a company like Chimera?
Yeah. Well, the UAE is very conducive for Islamic-based investing or Sharia-compliant investing. Regulations are in place, financial institutions, as well as investment products that are starting to be available that fit within the Sharia-compliant investing. What we've seen of our 11 ETFs that we've launched so far, 8 of which are Sharia compliant and have attracted a lot of interest from Islamic financial institutions as well as investors that are interested in investing in Sharia compliant. And as was mentioned, a lot of the Sharia compliant indices actually replicate or come very close to giving the performance of conventional. So you're getting the same sort of performance, but investing in a Sharia-compliant way, which has made it quite attractive for a lot of investors and not just, Muslims.
So talking about performance, maybe John, turning back to you. So if we look at performance of Sharia-compliant indices and conventional indices, how do they stack up?
Yeah, so we certainly expect there to be some divergence because of the inclusion set into the indices. So there's a different exposure toward and away from certain sectors. However, over a long-term basis, we see them to be quite comparable returns-wise, the Sharia indices versus the conventional indices. And, we see these returns to be quite competitive with each other.
Very good. Thank you. The final question, if I may, Sharif, maybe talk a little bit about the evolution of the Sharia indices that we've seen and how it impacts the region.
So the evolution of Sharia indices in the Middle East has had a significant impact on the region. It has expanded investment opportunities for Islamic based investors by providing diversified portfolios of Sharia-compliant stocks locally, regionally, and globally. We have, as mentioned, of our 11 ETFs, 8 of them are Sharia-compliant, tracking S&P Sharia-compliant indices that provide investors with exposure to regional markets and global markets, and of course, the local market. So Sharia indices have proven to be quite popular, and they provide the perfect replication for our ETF suite of products.
Thank you. John, Sharif, thank you for your insights and thank you for joining me today. And to share your thoughts on compliant investing in the region and how to use these tools. Thank you.
Thank you.